These stories start like any other day. A hike, a phone call, a quiet night at home. But then something snaps.
I can tell you, dude, 16 years, last night was the hardest night I've ever had. Hands down. The hardest thing I've ever had to do is look two little girls in the eye that says, my mama's lost, are you going to bring her home?
No warning, no second chance. And the scariest part? It could happen to you. She fell 130 feet off a cliff in Rocky Mountain National Park. Her husband said it was a tragic accident, but when investigators looked into his past, they found out this wasn't the first time a woman close to him had died.
911, what's the address, the emergency?
Hello, my name is Harold Hinthorn. I'm in the Rocky Mountain National Park.
Okay.
I need an Alpine Mountain Rescue Team immediately.
Okay, what is your exact location?
My exact location is Deer Mountain, North Summit. About 1 mile south of the visitor center.
Okay, I'm going to transfer you to the park, so hang on the line. You're going to hear some clicking, and right now I'm pulling up your lat and your long on my phone here. Let me try it one more time before I transfer you. They don't have this technology.
Can I make sure you know where I am first?
Okay. Yep, I have one moment.
Okay.
Hang on.
We say right where I am.
And I'll introduce who we are when they pick up the phone.
National Park. This is Estes, and we have a gentleman on Deer Mountain. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. My wife has fallen from a rock on the north summit of Deer Mountain, on the Deer Mountain Trail, and she's in really critical condition. She's had a bad fall.
How far did she fall, sir?
30, 40 feet, 30 feet.
30, 40 feet?
I think 30 feet.
30 feet. Are you with her
I can't be sure. I am. Let me be sure that you know my location first. We're going to have really bad cell coverage.
Okay.
Okay, I'm on Deer Mountain.
Okay.
Near the summit, not the normal, regular northern summit, on the southern outcrop. She is a white female, 50 years old, great health. She has respiration, approximately 5 to 8 beats a minute. Her pulse is about between 60 and 80 beats a minute. Head injury. Concussion.
Okay. Any other injuries?
To be internal,
Is she conscious and breathing?
No, she's not. She has not been conscious. She is breathing. Between 5 and 8 beats a minute now. Here's the thing. I will pay any and all expenses for a helicopter. I don't care if it's private. I don't care if it's commercial. It wouldn't matter if it's medevac. I'll pay any and all expenses right now.
Okay.
Have you drop a paramedic down here?
I understand that, sir. That would really be up to the ranger in charge.
Weather's good. There's no wind whatsoever right now. Weather is excellent. This building is at least 5 to 8 miles. There's definitely, I'm not a paramedic, but I'm doing all I can do. You could safely drop a paramedic from a 10-foot rope. Easily do that.
I understand that, sir, but they definitely need to probably...
Okay.
Are you back with your wife now?
I'm right here. Yeah, I'm right with her.
Okay. How is she doing?
Her respiration is weaker.
Her respiration is weaker?
Yeah, 5 beats a minute.
5 beats a minute?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know how to perform CPR?
I do. I didn't see exactly. I was messing with one camera. She was messing with the other one.
So you didn't see her?
I didn't actually see. I saw the motion, but I didn't.
Okay. So I'm going to hang up with you. If you want to leave your phone on, if that makes you feel better, definitely do that. You can call us if anything changes with her.
I will call you exactly 6:30.
At exactly 6:30?
Yeah, I'll call you exactly 6:30.
Okay.
Okay, thanks so much. Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you.
Dr. Tony Hinthorn was a respected ophthalmologist, smart and deeply loved by her family and patients. In 2012, she and her husband Harold were celebrating their 12th wedding anniversary with a surprise weekend getaway. They left their younger daughter, Haley, with a friend and drove into the mountains. By nightfall, Tony was dead. The call was calm, almost too calm. It was unusual, though not unheard of. In a moment of extreme trauma for the witness to give exact coordinates, detailed the victim's breathing rate, and offered to pay for a helicopter airlift out of pocket. But as first responders began the long hike to reach the scene, some things already weren't adding up. The location was remote, steep, and completely off trail. not the kind of place a casual hiker would stop to pose for a photo. When rescuers finally arrived, they found Harold kneeling beside Tony's body. Her head was wrapped, her eyes half open. She had no pulse. He said he'd been performing CPR, but the medics weren't convinced. Nearby, they found her smashed camera. The lens was destroyed, but the SD card inside had survived. The photos on the card captured the final hours of Tony's life. Harold had taken multiple shots of her near the edge of a cliff. In one, she was holding binoculars that were never recovered from the scene. Rangers also found a detailed trail map in Harold's car. A red X was drawn right near the spot where Tony fell. Then his story started to shift. He gave different versions of the hike to different people. What time they started, what trail they used, what Tony was doing when she fell. The 911 call had sounded rehearsed and detached. As detectives looked deeper, friends came forward with concerns. Leading up to the hike, Tony had seemed distant, tired. She and Harold had been sleeping in separate bedrooms. Their daughter, Haley, remembered something chilling. Her father had installed a baby monitor in her room, and she wasn't allowed to eat snacks without permission. Then came the money. Tony had no idea that Harold had taken out 3 separate life insurance policies on her. Together, they totaled $4.7 million. Investigators believed he'd forged her signature on at least one of them. And then someone remembered. Harold had been married before. In 1995, Harold's first wife, Lynn, died in what he called a tragic roadside accident. The story: they had pulled over to change a flat tire. He said the jack slipped and the SUV collapsed on her. She was crushed. Harold walked away without a scratch. No one else was there. No charges were filed. He collected $600,000 in life insurance. 2 wives, 2 isolated deaths, 2 big payouts, and 1 man at the center of both. For investigators, this wasn't just a coincidence anymore. It was a pattern. Harold said she worked in fundraising for nonprofit organizations, and she was successful in it. His business card listed a credential, CFR, but the organization had no record of him. He had no office, no income, no staff. He hadn't held a real job in nearly 20 years. Then they found something even more disturbing. Harold had taken out a $400,000 life insurance policy on his ex-sister-in-law. He told her it was meant for her daughters, but when investigators checked the paperwork, the only listed beneficiary was Harold. When she refused to go through with it, he kept the policy anyway, without her knowing. This wasn't just about money, it was about control. After Tony's death, Harold isolated their daughter, Haley. He told her not to cry, that people were watching.
After a while, they took me to a park where I met up with Harold. He sat me down and he told me that she had lost consciousness forever, is how he put it to me. Right after, he didn't want me to cry about it. He told me not to cry. He told me that people would be watching. I remember feeling shameful that I wasn't supposed to cry. Something must be wrong with me if I do cry. Because Harold told me not to.
He monitored everything she did. Permission was required for even the smallest things: snacks, TV, phone calls. The FBI feared that if Harold sensed an arrest was coming, he might hurt her too. So they waited, gathered more evidence, watched carefully. 2 years after Tony's death, they made their move. Harold was arrested and held without bail. A judge ruled he was a flight risk and still had access to millions from Tony's estate. In 2015, Harold Henthorne stood trial for the murder of his second wife. Prosecutors showed the court the photos, played the 911 call. Park rangers testified. The location where Tony died wasn't a place you stumbled into. It was marked chosen, planned. Several women who had dated Harold were at the proceedings, sharing the feeling that they were almost victims. He followed the same pattern time and time again. After less than 10 hours of deliberation, the verdict came back: guilty of first-degree murder. A juror told the media, It didn't sound like someone trying to save his wife. It sounded like someone executing a plan. Harold was sentenced to life in federal prison with no possibility of parole. He never confessed. In fact, he still claims he is innocent. To date, Harold has never been charged in Lynn's death, and authorities say the case is closed. After the trial, Haley was adopted by her aunt and uncle, Tony's brother and sister-in-law. They said she was hesitant at first, afraid to speak up, afraid to eat without permission. But over time, she found her voice. She grew into her own. What began as an anniversary hike exposed a man who had fooled people for decades, until one woman's fall brought everything crashing down. Despite the new information, Lynn's family will never have justice.
Hello?
911 dispatch, how can I help you?
I just found my mom.
I'm sorry?
I just found my mom.
In Evansville, Indiana, a mother was allegedly gunned down by her own child. Police rushed to the scene. Roads were blocked. Drones were launched. But the story wasn't real. It was a swatting call, a terrifying hoax designed to trigger an armed police response at a random home. The caller gave a name, an address, claimed he was sitting in the backyard, still armed. Every detail seemed urgent, specific, and totally fake.
Urgent to anybody else coming here, have them block off Colony where no traffic can come through, north and southbound.
Cooper and Hall, we'll try and knock that out if nobody else gets it. Do we have anybody that can see in the back?
No, it's all privacy fence. Drone operators, they can come out here, maybe stage.
Switch for traffic, just make sure that AMR can get in and out quickly.
Have AMR, then they'll need to come in from the north because it'll be my car, I can pull back.
I see somebody walk around inside through the frosted window in the front door.
I'm saying it's not real, but that phone number comes back to Georgetown, Indiana, so take it with a grain of salt.
Inside the house, a completely unaware family. No gun, no injuries, no idea why they were targeted. Police believe the call was spoofed, the number local, but possibly masked by software. It's part of a rising trend. Anonymous callers using fake threats to send SWAT teams to innocent homes. And it's not just a prank. People have died during swatting hoaxes before. This time, no one was hurt. But the fear, that was real. They had 2 kids, a large home in Florida, and from the outside, a relatively quiet life. But by Sunday night, that illusion was shattered.
I did it with a gun. A family member is gonna come and be with them. I already told my family member to take care of them because I know I'm gonna go to jail. I wish I could go back in time, but I can't. I am so sorry. I don't know why this life is so hard.
Her 15-year-old son was right there when the first shot was fired. Cassandra tried to run, but she never made it past the front porch. Rogelio Prestel didn't flee. He picked up the phone and confessed. Deputies arrived within minutes. They found the shooter waiting, and Cassandra's body on the porch. Their 9-year-old daughter was still inside. Their teenage son had seen everything. Rogelio told investigators exactly what he did and why. He'd spent months convinced Cassandra was cheating, that she'd grown distant, that she was spending too much time on her phone. She had asked for a divorce 2 months earlier. That Sunday night, he confronted her. He demanded she unlock her phone and show him her bank account, certain she was sending money to someone she'd met online. Their son was in the room, pleading with her to cooperate. Deputies say Cassandra tried to get away, but Rogelio opened fire. He kept shooting until the gun was empty and she had collapsed on the front porch. His son later told investigators the gunshots were so loud they made his ears hurt. Afterward, Rogelio called his brother. That phone call may have saved lives. His brother talked him down and convinced him to call 911 instead of taking his own life. Charlotte County Sheriff called it one of the most devastating scenes his team had ever encountered. Not just because of the violence, but because of the children. In the days that followed, Jassandra's family spoke through tears. Her brothers sat in court, just feet from the man they once called family. One of them remembered a conversation Rogelio had with him just weeks earlier where he said, "If I'm not with her, I can't be with anybody." It was more than jealousy, it was a warning. One no one imagined would be carried out. Her father said she was the heart of their family. Her brother described her as a protector, someone who always showed up. Now, the family is raising money to give her the funeral she deserves, and her children are left trying to make sense of what happened. Rogelio Prestel is charged with second-degree murder. A judge has denied him bail and ordered he have no contact with his children or in-laws. Prosecutors say the evidence is overwhelming, from the scene itself to the confession Rogelio gave to dispatchers and detectives. He remains in the Charlotte County Jail awaiting trial. He sounded like a boyfriend desperate to find his missing girlfriend, but the truth, he already knew where she was, because he'd left her there.
Charlesbad 911, what is your emergency?
Yes, my girlfriend left last night. We were at the Stevens bar and staying in the hotel there, and she hasn't made it back to the hotel. I don't know where she went. She was talking about leaving with some other guy, and she hasn't made it back.
Okay, and where are you at?
The Stevens Inn.
What room?
402.
What is your name?
It's Robert Early.
How do you spell your last name?
E-A-R-L-E-Y.
And your phone number is?
Yes, ma'am.
And where do you live, Robert?
In Euless, Texas.
And it's U-E-L-E-S-S?
Yes, ma'am. I've been pacing since 5:30 this morning.
Okay.
Just because she was pretty intoxicated, and she had some insecurities. And
okay, what is her name?
Emily Lambert. I didn't know, maybe she got picked up for a PI. Maybe she walked down the road. She was in a really cute dress and some high heels, and I had her ID, and her phone was in the room on the charger. We took my phone, and I really didn't think anything of it because she was like, well, this guy over here has been hitting on me, and he says, you aren't going to treat me right. Then he'll take me home. And I was like, whatever, if that's what you really want.
Okay, what color dress?
It was like white and black. With black high heels, with little bitty silver balls, I think, on the bottom of the heel. And her purse is in the car. I mean, she don't have anything with her. I drove it up and down the street to look to see if she was walking down the road or something. And I haven't seen her. And I've talked to her parents, to her ex-husband. Nobody's heard from her.
Okay. Is her phone in the room, or her purse is in the car?
Yeah, her phone is here. She was wearing a shirt. She didn't have any pockets.
Okay, let me go ahead and have an officer come see you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
At first, it looked like a case of a woman who disappeared after a night out drinking, but the caller wasn't telling the full story. And by the time the truth came out, 30-year-old Emily Lambert was already dead. Emily Lambert was a third-grade teacher from Garland, Texas, and a mother of two. Friends described her as kind, bright, and full of life. That weekend, she had traveled to Carlsbad, New Mexico, to visit her boyfriend, Robert Early, who was working in the local oil fields. They'd been drinking at a local bar when an argument broke out. According to Robert, Another man was flirting with Emily, and she threatened to leave with him.
Emily had gone to the bathroom a couple of times and told me that every time she went to the bathroom, she was getting hit on. I don't really think nothing of it because she gets hit on everywhere she goes. It's the third time she came back, or the time she had this. She was like, this guy over here said, if you don't want to take care of me, or you don't take care of me right, he'll take me home. And I was like, it really kind of hurt my feelings after the whole day and everything. And I tried to have a speech with her.
He told police she walked out alone, and that was the last time he saw her. But that wasn't true. 2 days after filing the missing person report, Robert sat down with detectives again. This time, his story changed. He told investigators he had followed Emily back to their motel room after the bar. There, they argued again, and then he hit her. Hard. When she lost consciousness, he panicked. Instead of calling 911, he loaded her into his car and drove out into the desert. According to court records, Emily briefly regained consciousness, and the two argued again. What happened next was brutal. Robert attacked her with a heavy object, then used his vehicle to drag her to a remote area, where her body was later found near a barn in Loving, New Mexico. Then, he went back to the motel and waited. When she didn't turn up, he called 911. 2 days after the call, Robert led investigators to Emily's body. The small community of Carlsbad was rocked by the news. Emily didn't live there. She was a guest in the town. Now, she was gone. Police arrested Robert Early just after midnight 3 days later. He was charged with first-degree murder, kidnapping, and tampering with evidence. His bond was set at $1 million. But the story didn't end with his arrest. Robert's lawyers tried to have his confession thrown out. They claimed he was under pressure and didn't fully understand his rights. But the court rejected that argument. What shocked so many people about the case wasn't just the violence, it was the deception. From the moment he picked up the phone and called 911, Robert painted himself as a worried partner. He told the dispatcher he was pacing, that he had no idea where Emily went, that she was drunk and maybe got picked up by someone else. He said she didn't even have her phone or ID, but by the time those words left his mouth, he already knew exactly where she was and what he'd done. In the aftermath, Emily's family chose not to speak publicly at length. They focused instead on her 2 young daughters, who were left without their mother. In 2015, a jury convicted the 33-year-old on all counts. Under New Mexico law, that meant an automatic life sentence, and the judge did not mince words. The brutality of the crime and the attempts to cover it up left no room for leniency. Robert appealed the conviction and lost. Then, in 2016, his lawyers tried to get the confession thrown out, but the court upheld it. Robert Early is currently serving a life sentence in a New Mexico prison. He will not be eligible for parole for decades, if ever. For more True 911 calls, watch this episode next.